Well, good morning and welcome to Algebra 2. Let's begin our study of lesson 8.5a. Just heads up the homework. 8.5a is due tomorrow, so please have that done before you come to class. And we've got a warm-up activity here. It's called a quick review. And these are what we call mental math problems. There is a section on the homework called mental math. And basically, they're asking you to not do any work, just write down the answer. Like, just a mental math approach to x squared equals 9 would involve thinking, well, let's see. What are the numbers that when you square them, you get 9? You're thinking, well, let's see, 3 squared is 9, negative 3 squared is 9. So instead of doing the DSR thing, just using mental math, come up with the answer. So go ahead and do parts B, C, D, E, and F on your own. Just write down what you think the answer is using mental math. Alrighty. So, what's the value of x that makes the equation in part B true, class? Go ahead and call it out if you think you know.
2.
Good job. 2 is correct. By the way, the log base 4 of 4 is 1, because 4 to the first is 1. Now, they're getting kind of a pattern going here, and they want you to say that the log base x of x is 1, but that's actually not true for all x's, so let's put a domain restriction on this. That's only true for x values that are greater than 0. We can't take log base 0 or log base negative number. And letter F is the one problem where it's not like it's really super quick, because 3 to the second power is 9, that's too big. 3 to the first power is only 1, so we know the answer is somewhere between 1 and 2. And what we can do is just put this in log form. In fact, that's probably the most common thing we're going to be doing today, that you have to review from before spring break. You have to rewrite an equation that's in exponential form so that it's in log form. So would you please see if you can remember how you organize these three symbols, 3, x, and 8, into the form log base something of something equals something. That would be the log form. Try it. See if you can remember what the log form of this exponential equation is. Alrighty. Raise your hand if you think you got it. Thomas, do you have it?
Can I get to that?
Oh, actually, as soon as I'm done teaching it. Raise your hand if you think you know the log form of this one. Log base blank of blank equals blank. All right, Andrew, you want to give that a go?
Log 3 of 8.
So what Andrew said was log base 3 of 8 equals x. Now he actually didn't say base, but that's proper pronunciation. Say log base 3 of 8. Some people say log 3 to the 8th, but 8's not an exponent, so it's not log 3 to the 8th, it's log base 3 of 8 equals x. So the correct answer on letter F is, in case you're wondering, I mean, it really is a mental math problem. You should be able to look at that and say that the answer is log base 3 of 8. Log base 3 of 8. Do you have any questions?
So why does the x go away?
Okay, so the question is, why does the x go away? And, you know, the task here was to solve for x, and x didn't really go away. It's still here. But just like in part B, the answer is 2. In part F, the answer is log base 3 of 8. So Now remember, if you have your equation here, if this is the original equation, then EF, the exponential form of the equation, would be b to the c equals a. Using these two arrows, the arrow thing tells us that b to the c equals a. We're using that to solve equations today. Now, on your calculator, go fit to height, fit to width. Okay. They want you to use the alpha window 5 keystrokes to get log base 5 of 160. Do me a favor, on your calculator, go to mode, and not everyone has math print on their calculator. Some calculators are a little bit old school, which is actually kind of cool if you ask me, but if you're in classic mode, switch over to math print for these problems.
So for the test,
And I mean, go either way, it's your calculator.
Yeah, wait for the test, but we need to be in math print,
So
or does it matter?
you can go either way. You can go whichever one you want. Here you can change back and forth. We actually do not have calculator police roaming throughout the room checking to see which mode you're in.
What do you
Yeah, but
recommend?
will
Wait,
it
oh,
affect
time out.
me?
Time out. I want to show you what happens when you put it into math print. So I'd like all of you to put it into math print, but you certainly don't need to for the test. But let's go to math print and use this sequence of keystrokes, alpha window 5. So alpha window 5, notice what that does is it sets up the calculator to take log base 5 of 160. So log base 5 arrow 160 rounded to 3 decimal places is 3.1538. But the truth is not everyone's calculator is going to have math print. So I want to show you what to do. If you don't have math print, you just type in the log of 160 divided by the log of 5. And that's the base change formula, which is part of tomorrow's lesson anyway. So it's still best to keep your calculator in classic mode. But if you're in math, we just want you to know how to use your calculator in both math print mode and in classic mode. Because I mean, I've seen situations where students are going in to take the ACT or the SAT and their calculator doesn't have battery, so they have to borrow their brother or sister's calculator and there's no math print, and they have to know what's going on without math print. So we just want you to understand the concepts. The base change formula. If you want to find the log base 5 of 160, and would all of you please type it in both ways? Because changing the base, it's just called the base change formula, the second way I did it, which is part of tomorrow's lesson anyway. So would all of you please type in log of 160 divided by log of 5, and notice that you get the same answer. Either way, 3.153 is the answer, because he said round to 3 decimal places. So 3.153 is the answer to part A. Type it in both ways on part B. So type it in the math print way, but also what if math print was disabled or simply absent from your calculator? Do part B both ways. Log base 2 of 9. Log. Alpha window 5 enables you to just type in log base 2 of 9. Or if you type in log 9 divided by log 2, you'll get the same answer. 3.170. Any questions on how to use alpha window 5 to evaluate log of a base other than 10? All right, let's keep moving. There's 2 codes I'd like you to write down for example 2, letter A. Codes are OE and LF for log form. Log form, that's kind of what Andrew did earlier today. Would you please convert the equation 4 to the x equals 19 to log form? Give it the old college try. Or, if you don't want to do that, you can give it the old Wheaton Academy try. And we'll see how it goes.
What's the difference? Wheaton Academy, try it. College try.
Thank you for asking.
I would say thank you for the answer.
I know. You'll figure it out someday. I don't want to ruin the discovery process for you.
That's what I think.
So Bethany, what would you say the log
You
form?
know, I don't know.
I haven't done it yet.
Well, you know
That was
what?
trying to
I'm
figure
so
out.
glad that you so humbly admitted where you need some help here. You know what? The base of the log expression is always going to be the same as the base of the exponential expression. So notice that every exponential expression has a base and an exponent. So
4.
guess that was log base 4. And what is the one word that comes to mind when you hear the word log?
Exponent.
Yeah, so the log has got to be equal to the exponent. So
Okay,
first
and
place
then
the base,
19.
and then process of elimination, the 19 has only one place to go, so it's log base 4 of 19.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what we have here is, final answer, x is an element of the set log base 4 of 19. And it's important to write that down because that's the exact answer. It's not the rounded answer. If this problem were on the non-calculator part of the test, then this is what you would do and say, that's my answer. There's only one solution to this equation, it's log base 4 of 19. However, if it's on the calculator part of the test, and they ask you to take it one step further and say, oh, by the way, would you take your answer and also, in addition to writing it in exact form, would you round it to 3 decimal places, please? That's where you go to your calculator and type in log base 4 of 19. If you're in math print, you can go alpha window 5, log base 4 of 19. Or, if you don't have math print available, just type in log of 19 divided by log of 4. One way or the other, your 3 decimal approximation is 2.124. Let's pause here and take any questions on how to get 2.124 with a wavy equals sign. Yes?
Question. So on the test, down here you like did the XE and then the brackets, but up on the mental math you didn't do that for the answer. Will we get points off if we don't?
Yeah, but I did. I did on
Well,
some.
on F you did it.
So you won't get points off for that, but this is just a great way to learn important mathematical notation. So just want you to be aware of what it means. I'd like you to all try part B on your, well, actually, let's get the code set up here together. Because the first thing that you want to do is the S5 code. What line of algebra? J? Tell me the line of algebra that lines up with the subtract 5 from both sides code.
-3 to the x power equals -45.
Yeah, that's well done. Before we go into log form, we do want to do either a D -1 or an M -1. And so when we do this, Sophia, what's the line of algebra that lines up here with M -1? 3 to the x equals 45 is correct. What do you anticipate the next code is going to be? Jack?
LF.
Yeah, we want to put this into log form. And what is the log form in this case? Help me out with that one, please, Gerald.
Log 3,
Yeah, so far so good. Log base 3.
and then 45 equals x.
That's it, we solved it. The solution to this equation is log base 3 of 45. You can write it in set notation. X is an element of the set log base 3 of 45. But since they do ask us to also round our answer to 3 decimals, go to the calculator and find the 3 decimal approximation. So my calculator says that log base 3 of 45 is 3.465 approximately. So if you had 3.465 is the approximate value of x, you're in good shape. Any questions on example 2? Let's go to the back side. And so what do we have going here? I think This is looking good in terms of giving you time in class to do homework. I mean, what's been going on? Why is it that so frequently we've been getting time in class to work on the homework? If you ask me, I think it started back when the musical started to gear up. Is that what it seemed like to you? Once the musical hit, then all of a sudden we started making time available in class for you to work on the homework, and it just hasn't stopped. Even though the musical ended a long time ago, we're still getting time in class to work on the homework.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It wasn't really my decision, but I wonder if this is gonna continue. It might continue through to the end of the year.
Do you not want it to continue?
Well, all I'm saying is I don't know if it's gonna continue. So, this is my first time teaching this course here at this fine institution. Let's go to the next page, 8.5A, example 2, part C. We had done parts A and B, now let's go to part C. Talk a little bit about codes. Since we have base to an exponent equals 50, we can go straight into LF, log form. Write down what you think the log form is for this particular equation. Then when you're done, look up here, see if we agree. A log is an exponent. And since the exponent is x plus 4, then the log had better equal x plus 4, and that's exactly what we have. Log base 12 of 50 is x plus 4. We will have solved for x if we can simply manage to find a way to S4, subtract 4 from both sides. So if you ask me, the final answer is log base 12 of 50 minus 4. So what do you think? You think that's a log base 12 of 46? No, it is not. This is not the log base 12 of 46. Due to order of operations, you cannot subtract before taking the log. And since we can't simplify log base 12 of 50, it's just log base 12 of 50 minus 4. In fact, to prove to you that it's not the same thing as log base 12 of 46, let's compare the two. Let's compare log base, my alpha window 5, log base 12 of 50. And then, now what have I done? So, log base 12 of 50 minus 4 is this, but the log base 12, alpha window 5, log base 12 of 46 is something else. So notice that the log base 12 of 50 minus 4 is not the same thing as log base 12 of 46. So the correct answer here is negative 2.426. X is approximately negative 2.426, rounded to 3 decimals. So watch out for that. Please try part D, that's D as a dog, on your own. Okay. I hope you're using the A5 code to get 5 plus log base 16 to 49 equals 2x. What code do you recommend we go with next? Jonathan.
S5.
No, we're solving for x.
D2.
D2 is good, that'll work. I want you to do M1/2, because dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. And it's because I have the hat rule in mind, the hat rule. Have we ever talked about the hat rule?
Just at the beginning.
Just at the beginning of class today. So, you're right. Good memory. So we got 5/2 plus 1/2, which is a hat, if you will, using the hat rule. Next thing you know, all this hat rule stuff will end up out there on YouTube. And then we can put the hat back on. Owen, do you have a question?
If I put the whole thing over 2,
Yes,
would that
divided,
be
it's,
wrong?
well, dividing the whole thing by 2, so, but 5 divided by 2 is 5 halves.
I just put a line.
Yeah, but the reason we're not doing that, the reason we're doing this instead is so that you can see that 1/2 is a hat, which you don't see the way that you did it. So there's a reason I'm having you do M1/2.
Would that
So-
be wrong?
So let's, well, hold on, I want to teach you something. This is something that happens in school from time to time. Occasionally, people learn things that are a little bit different than what their intuitions would lead them to do. Like, look at what happens when you do it this way. You get 2.5 plus, now think of 1/2 as a hat, which goes up on 49's head. So that becomes log base 16 of 7, right? Because 49 to the 1/2, isn't that the square root of 49? And isn't the square root of 49 equal to 7? So, you know what? Some of you are grimacing. I'm not going to say who, but I'm going to show more of my work. And maybe you'll be happier. If I just put the 1/2 back on 49's head and then take another step, that becomes 2.5 plus log base 16 of 7, because the square root of 49 is 7. This is something that you are not so likely to see if you just do a D2. But if you do an M1/2, thinking of the hat rule, then you'll see it. So this is the exact answer, but the directions ask us to round to 3 decimal places. So would you please type in, please do not type in the log base 16 of 9.5. Do not add the 7 and the 2.5 to get 9.5. Instead, keep them separate as you type this in to your calculator. We're talking 2.5 plus log base 16 of 7. Oh, and there's one more thing. On the homework it says check your answer. So would you do me a favor? Would you please type in 2.5 plus alpha window 5 log base 16 of 7 store alpha A, where A stands for the answer. Log base 16 of 7 stow alpha A, enter. Okay. So, the answer, which is about 3.28, stow is right here next to the left of the number 1. Stow A. Now, type in the original problem, see if it comes up to 49. Type in 16 to the 2 alpha A minus 5, where A is the answer. The answer is x equals this thing. It should come out to 49 if I press enter here. It did. See, this is a way to use your calculator to check to see that. Let's zoom in on that.
Wait, how did you get the 2a minus 5 above 16?
Press caret. I press the caret button because if you're in math print, then guess what? You press caret, it kind of sets up a box for the exponent. So I stored the answer in A, and then on the homework it'll say check your answer. So I'm going to check. Is 16 to the 2x minus 5 really equal to 49? According to the calculator, yes. Yes. Any questions on how to check that one? All right. Let's go to the next problem. Unzoom. Next problem. Here we go. Solved by graphing. What, are you kidding me? Graphing? Well, we're going to use y1 and y2 to solve by graphing. By the way, since graphing involves setting up a viewing window, it sure would be nice to estimate the answer. I mean, I wonder what x is. Well, let's think about 3x. I mean, 2 to the first power is 2. 2 to the second power is 4, which is still less than 6. 2 to the third power is 8. So I'll bet 3x. This is just scratch work here. This is stuff going on in my mind. This cloud represents what's going on in my mind. 3x should be between 2 and 3. I mean, if 3x were equal to 2, 2 squared, 2 to the 2 is 4. That's too little. But 2 to the third is 8, which is too big. So whatever the answer is, if you divide all 3 parts by 3, I'm predicting, based on this little mental math activity, that the answer is going to be somewhere between 2/3 and 1. It's just my prediction. Somewhere between like 0.6667 and 1. Let's see if that's really true. Right. So that's what goes on in your mind. You don't have to do that. You can just go to the calculator and put, here's the strategy. For y1, we're going to type in 2 to the 3x power. And for y2, we're going to type in 6. We're going to find out where they intersect. 2 to the 3x and 6. But first go to the viewing window. On your viewing window, would you do me a favor? Oh, how embarrassing. I'm in parametric mode. We should be in function mode. That's for my calculus class. Okay, so we have clear. It looks as though our strategy is 2 to the 3x. So in your y equals menu, please type in 2 caret 3x for y1. And for y2, type in the number 6. Remember I said we're going to go to the viewing window? Please set up your viewing window from -1 to 2. Why so small? Well, I'm expecting the answer to be between 2/3 and 1. So instead of just going from 0 to 1, I'm going to give it some breathing room. I'm going to go from -1 to 2 on x. And I need y to be at 6, so let's just go from -1 to 10. Y min, -1, y max, 10. I'm hoping to get an exponential growth curve and a horizontal line that intersect. Oh, that's exactly what's happening. We have an exponential growth curve and a horizontal line that intersect. And whatever the x-coordinate of the point of intersection is, will be the solution. What button should I press on the calculator to find the x-coordinate of that point of intersection? Here in trace, yeah, so second trace, item 5, and since there's only one point of intersection, just first curve, enter, second curve, enter, guess, enter, found it, so I'm going to pull that in. So now it's right here in my document, and hello, it looks as though the solution is 0.862 approximately. So, you don't have to show any work. On the calculator, just say x wavy equals 0.862. Now, if you want to check to see if that's true, then let me show you a nifty calculator trick. Just hit second quit and press X, enter. Notice that the value is stored in variable x. So if I type in 2 to the 3x, it should give me 6. I mean, come on, you can use your calculator to know whether you have the correct answer before you even turn the test in. Is it really true that 2 to the 3x is 6? Let's find out. 2 caret 3x, enter, is 6. We did it. We solved the equation. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm not getting the same answer.
We don't have the same answer? Okay. Well, let's find. Oh, by the way, I predicted the answer would be between 0.666667 and 1, and the correct answer was in fact between 0.66666667 and 1. 0.862. Did we write that down? Yeah, 0.862. That's what I was expecting. Some of you have notified me of the awkward reality that your answer is not coming out the same. To which I would ask you, when you go to the y equals menu, what do you have for y1? What do you have typed in for y1? 2 caret, is it 2 caret 3 to the x or 2 caret 3x? So using the zoom feature, see if the zoom feature still works. So is this what your y1 looks like? Is this what your y2 looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, now tell me this. When you go to your viewing window, is it from -1 to 2 by 1s and -1 to 10 by 1s? Zooming gives us a flashing cursor. So, is this how your viewing window looks?
Yeah.
Okay, now press graph. And it should look something like this. Does yours look like this? Good. Now let's go to the calculate item 5 for intersect. Are they prompting you for first curve?
Yeah.
Press enter. Are they prompting you for second curve? Press enter. Are they prompting you for intersect? Or for guess?
Yeah.
Press enter. Does it give you 0.86165542? That's a solution.
Yeah, I got it.
Good, yes.
Oh, why does this weird?
Yours says error?
Yeah, and the y equals in the window.
Sorry.
Yeah, mine's-
Further questions or yes? I'm kidding, Sophia. Let's take a look at yours. Says no question. All right. Oh, you have a plot turned on. Yeah, so if your plot is turned on, put the cursor up on the plot, press enter. That turns out the plot. Now press graph, and your results will be much better. Is yours working? Oh, you didn't set the viewing window. And in your viewing window, you've got y-min 10 and y-max 10. Change your y-min to -10, and your y-min, make it -10, and then it will work. Are there any other questions, comments or questions on getting the calculator to work? All righty, well, hey, let's. Is this the last one? Okay, so here, try this one on your own. Try to solve the equation 4 to the x equals 500 on your own. You may need a bigger viewing window for this. You know, if I were you, I'd bump your x max value up to like 5 or maybe even 10. But try part B on your own, solve the equation 4 to the x equals 500. To the x equals 500. Question or stretching?
I accidentally plotted a point on the graph, like, I can't get rid of it.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Yeah, I
There, you have a point on the graph, and you'd like to get rid of it, which. Okay, put your cursor, press up arrow so it's on the plot. Press enter to turn off your plot. Okay, now press graph. Is the point still there? Or-
So does this in the same spot.
Yeah, but the point's gone now.
Yeah.
That's good. That's what you wanted.
Change the window.
Yeah, why don't you change your viewing window to something that you want? All right. I'm recommending you bump your X max up to 5 because the numbers here are bigger. And since we're setting it equal to 500, oh my goodness, 500, that's almost a gajillion. So 500, my Y max has to be at least 500 as a result. Let's go 600. And -100, I'm going -100 to 600. So that when I graph this thing, hopefully everything will, oh, nice. I'm going -100 to 600. Thank you, you're so kind. And notice I bumped my X max up to 5. I think now we're going to be able to succeed finding an intersection. There it is, 4.483, and I think we're good to go. The solutions are posted online in case you want to have those open as you're going along. The answer to this one was 4.483. So take the rest of the time and work on your homework.
This is.
Sure, it's made of sex.